the mountains, a small village lied called Doroth. There lived a young dragonborn. That dragonborn was I, Doroth. Growing up was simple in a small village. I was around a lot of family. My father, Arn Sonar, my grandfather, Beck Sonar. Beck was going on 400 years old, which is quite odd for a dragonborn. My father and grandfather were both well-respected wizards in the village, so you would suspect I would follow in the footsteps, right? Apparently that wasn't the case, as I turned out to be a blacksmith. Doroth was a small village located at the base of a volcano, so we had access to many ores and minerals. There were these massive crystals located in the village, all of many different colors. There was one that stood out, located in the middle of the village. It was a purple crystal. All the other crystals faded of the color as time went on, but not this crystal. It kept pristine. One day when I was 13, I was on the job at the blacksmith when I heard screaming coming from outside. That was all I remembered, till a few hours later when I woke up with a splitting pain in the back of my head. When I walked outside to see what happened, the whole village was burnt to the ground, and the purple crystal was gone. I ran straight home, where I found ashes and two bodies. One of them was my mother, Shul. The other was a shady small figure, almost golem-like. I walked over to it, and it started to run towards me. Let's just say that was my first kill. On that creature I found a note that told me to go to the capital, Shadowmont. So there was a 7'10", black-scaled, black-haired, red-eyed dragonborn with no direction to go in. I spent 2 years researching and hunting for information to help me. I finally found something to go on. It was a book that was really a folklore, talking about 7 brothers ruling over the land, and one turned evil. So the other 6 killed him and spread his body over the land. One of the brothers' names looked familiar. It was my grandfather, Bexanar. That had to mean something, right? So I packed my bags and went to Shadowmont to see what it was all about. In Shadowmont, there was a tavern called the Golden Leopard. That name was on the note, but I had no idea what it meant at the time. I walked in to find a cafe/bar, and sitting in the corner was a human, and what I assumed to be his companion, a dog. Their names were Ash and Vaden. I sat down next to the man who called himself Vaden. His dog wasn't fond of strangers, or maybe it was just me. But I sat down next to him because he looked a bit stressed and I just needed to fit in. It wasn't normal for a 7'10" dragonborn walking around. We started to talk, and I found out he had a note as well. We were talking for about 5 minutes before we heard a bang from the door, and in come a half-elf and a cleric, of all the things, a cleric, to a bar. We started to talk to get to know each other, and they asked if we'd seen a person that for some reason sounded very familiar to me, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But that, my friends, is where our adventure begins.